Mm. Everyone,
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Morning.
Guna,
Whenever you're watching us.
Madawaka.
Halito.
OCO. Kikadus.
Oh, yeah, I say Kikadu.
I'm blank.
Kunamante.
Kudumante. Yatahe, Stongo, Miigwech.
CO.
Yeah. I don't know if that's all of them. Pretty close, probably.
Yeah.
We don't have them scrolling across the screen right now, so it's good.
So, man, good morning.
Good morning.
It's been a while since Tour's been in this podcast, but we're finally here. But we'll have more coming up soon. Check out our next episode. But today I'll introduce myself. Domingo, Whiteman, Southern Cheyenne from Oklahoma City.
I'm Carmello Reveles, Pawnee, Oto, and I'm actually here in El Reno now. So.
I'm Tatum, Escott. I am Kickapoo in Cheyenne, and I also live in El Reno.
Bona. How they're teaching me. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so good morning. So we're here today. We're here with Tatum, Carmello, and myself. It's been a while since we've been on here. A lot has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma City Thunder are champions. Got to be in the parade. I don't know. Did y'all go to the parade?
No.
My kids
missed
went.
it.
Oh, your kids went.
I don't remember what I was doing.
What was you?
Felt like I was busy doing something.
It was a Tuesday. So.
We were doing something. I just remember whenever they announced the parade.
Yeah.
Des walked upstairs and she said, "I won't be here tomorrow." Like she already knew she was going.
Right.
Well, they told me on Friday, but before the game, they're like, "We need dancers. We're already planning." I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What? They need to win first." No. But we already had to get our dancers and singers ready. So
that's awesome, man. It was a cool opportunity for you.
Yeah, being able to be right by them, and it was awesome. It was like, I was crying up there.
That was your big top secret, huh?
Yeah, that was my top secret. Yeah, I couldn't tell nobody.
No, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. And we have did we have our Gore Clan at the time? Last time we've been on here?
Yeah, I think so. We were just starting.
Yeah.
So we think it's been probably a little over a year since we've got to come out and do a podcast here. So there's been a lot of changes. We went from, I'm pretty sure we were just the Tour 4 back then. Mm-hmm. Now we're the Tour 9.
Tour 9.
So we hired 5 more people during that period of time. But we're also going through a period of time where we didn't have any grant funding.
Yeah.
And so we were relying a lot on our partnerships. And that's why we're glad Tatum's here with us now, because she's our community outreach manager. And she helps us to build that network now and those partnerships. So it's exciting, man, to have all these other people and not having us be like everywhere, all the time. Mingo takes way more advantage of that than I do. Because he could be gone for 3 weeks at a time and no one even thinks he has a job anymore. So
when?
All the time.
He's a traveling gypsy.
Yeah. He lives out of his Durango all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You got a full closet back there or what?
Yeah.
In the back?
That's why it's always full.
No, I feel like even as like a 9-person team, we're still on the go nonstop. Like, I enjoy it though. You know what I mean? I enjoy that even though we have an office to come back to, that we're out there. We're out in the communities. We're going and taking these opportunities that we can. So
I think if you think about it, there used to be events that we would hold all the time, and they've kind of, I don't want to say they've fallen to the wayside, but they kind of have. Like we had to be reminded about our recovery bash we used to do all the time. And it's just because we're so busy doing everything else that we're just like, oh yeah, that was something we used to do all the time.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah. And so like for those years we held them like every August or September. And it'd be like a big like health fair. And so we'd bring in all these organizations so if someone was to walk off the street and was seeking help, they would be able to come in, take steps to either find insurance if they felt like it, find a detox, find a treatment center, find sober living, and it'd be like a full circle for them. And then in the end, they would come back to us and we'd talk to them about their aftercare plan and everything else.
Wow.
And so that was what the reasoning for that event was. And just because we're so involved in doing everything else, I think we just kind of forgot about it. And which is crazy because Connor brought it up to Darian and we were just like, oh yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah.
And so we're planning it out. We're getting it all ready for, I can't remember what the date is we're trying to shoot for now. I think we're still trying to find the place for it. So, but I think we've done it in Watonga. I think that's where we've done it a lot, actually.
Tonga, yeah.
And because it's like the capital of CNA country, I guess, besides Concho. So, and it's more of a center point. So, but yeah, that's just one of the things. But we're, like you just said, we're constantly involved and constantly doing things all the time. It feels like almost every day of the week we're supposed to be somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
We have like our weekly schedule now, and like there's also different things that fall on top of that. And like, so my title with TOR is Community Outreach Manager, which does mean partnerships, but the community part means a lot to me. Like anywhere, we kind of had a little partnership thing yesterday, and I can only like learn as I go, but the one thing I'm not afraid of is putting myself out into the community and having conversations with people. And I feel like that's all you can really do, have a conversation with someone, ask them what they do, like what they're about. And that's how you build those relationships. But what was I going to say? That was really cool yesterday, going and like just everything falling into place, and I got to learn from you,
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I can teach sometimes.
Yeah.
Just sometimes.
No, I mean that was just part of what I used to do all the time, and building those partnerships and like seeking different avenues for us to get out there in the state or sometimes in the nation, and it's led us to different places. And we get asked to go, like, for instance, we've been to Oregon, we've been to Minnesota, and people ask us to come and talk. And we're always like, there's no way you want us to come talk to anybody. Because if you ever watch our lives or anything like that, or you keep up with us on a daily, you would never think people would actually want us to try to come be professional and talk with anybody. But I think like if we really get down to it and we have to be serious and we have to talk about the things that are going on, then people want to hear that part. But we also add humor into it sometimes. So
yeah,
there's always going to be that humor.
Yeah.
Always. It's medicine.
I can be serious when I need to, and I think that makes a good balance. You know what I mean? But I told Darian that like what I saw in you guys before I worked here was like the joy and like the laughter and everything that you guys just are open about in the communities that you go into, and like that's attractive to people. You know what I mean? If we were just mobbing in like, all serious.
Better.
Like no, we're just all equal. We're just all a team, and we just laugh and work well together. And I think that people see that too.
Because we all been at the bottom of the pit. We all know how we've been in certain, at the lowest of the lowest of different levels of all, recovery. So I think, and then being able to just show our humor and have fun and good time and still laugh and joke, but be serious and balance it out. But I think everybody loves that, seeing that.
That's one of the key points whenever we're trying to develop those relationships with people, is for people to realize that we're talking from experience. It's not just because there's tons of people out there that talk about their education, and there's no slight to education or anybody that's gone through that process. But when we're talking about ourselves and our journeys and everything we've been through, every single one of us have our own recovery journey. We have our own story, and most of us aren't afraid to share that story to try to better somebody's life. And we're the ones that are still kind of being scared. We're trying to break them out of their shell to get there. And we know in eventuality they will get there because it just takes time. And but there was always that stigma for a long time. It's like, no one needs to know I'm in recovery. No one needs to know I'm going through these battles. And now it's like, recover out loud. And that's always been a thing that we've kind of pushed. And it started with Barry and David and Brittany and Cassandra and them sharing their stories. And now we have everybody else that's in the group now: Tatum, Theta, Ron, and Shayna, ourselves, of course.
And Desi.
Yeah, and Dez. And, but, it's just helpful. And that's what was so significant about yesterday, is hearing all the people out there talk about their own journey and how the majority of all of them are ones that were in recovery. And that's how they started their group. And they all came together to figure out that this is what they wanted to do. And, me and Barry are always talking all the time, like, if we could go out and we talk in front of 300 people and we just reach one person, then it was worth it. So I think that's kind of, key in everything that we do, and it helps. And it's just, we're trying to summarize what we've been doing over the last year, but that's really what we've really tried to focus on, is trying to get people out of their shell and still show our humor and stuff at the same time, because we wouldn't be who we are without it. So.
Mm-hmm. And I'll have 3 years coming up this Monday if I make it. I have pretty high hope.
Yeah. We have high hope for you too. So.
But really, like, when you talk about like recovery and addiction, like, it really is one day at a time. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to get too like high and mighty about my recovery. Like, do I feel strong within? Yes. Like, am I, you know what I mean? I have my tools, I have my higher power, I have all the things that have gotten me this far, but I never want to think that I am just like
above it all.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay. Yeah.
I'm healed now.
I'm never recovered, like always recovering. And so, but my 3 years is coming up, and just thinking back, like, to everything that I've learned along the way and like where I'm at now, I know that happened for a reason. And I know that I have to show other people that can happen for them too. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've had a lot of emotions thinking back to like this week, like leading up to this week back in 2022, and where I was at, and just a little bit about me. I knew I had to go to treatment, and I couldn't go for like a week, and I had to wait a week. So I thought, I'm at my rock bottom, but let me just take my daughter to stay at a hotel and spend the night for one night, go swim at a pool before I leave her for 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
So I go to this hotel and go down to the pool with just like my debit card and my key card. My debit card got stolen
Oh my goodness.
at the pool. And I'm like, like, that was on top of my already like bottom that I was at. More things were happening to me. And I thought that was like how I was just like how life was. You know what I mean? I thought life was bad. And so I don't know. I've just been doing a lot of reflecting back to that time in my life and what my life looks like today. And it's so easy to feel blessed today.
Strong.
Good.
Powerful. Yeah, I think I'm at 844 days. So it's been.
Did you say 844?
Yeah.
Okay.
844. But yeah, I think back to it being, falling off and getting on like the red road and reading the daily meditations. And like Ron says, what helps him, 5 a.m. coffee and just that alone time, that stillness.
Mm-hmm.
And it still helps me today, like being able to wake up, do my yoga, even if it's just 5 minutes. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, but being able to stretch and just meditate and then read the daily meditation helps me a lot. So just very thankful that we have, everything, Red Road, Don Coyce, he gathered all these, these chiefs and women leaders that they're able to share the seasonal and the meditation. It just goes right with it. So.
Right. Yeah, that's good. I think if you follow along with us, or you've been following along with us, you've seen kind of a growth in probably everybody over time. The ability to share like how we go through our daily process is always I think people pick up on that. And because some people don't realize, like, man, in order to really develop a relationship with, with your higher power, with God or creator, like, you have to make time for that. And um, we always talk about starting your day off in the morning with prayer and being thankful that you are blessed with another day. Because I always say, you're not promised the next day, and recovery is one day at a time. And so when we go through that time and we start thinking about things, and uh, to give people like an idea of how we cope with stresses in our lives, or we cope with grief or our own trauma, like, it's just steps in a process for people to start, that's just gathering information, especially those that are early in their journey. And they can start holding on to those ideas. And that's why I love all of our meetings that we have. And I was just telling Tatum last night, I was like, man, I need to start going to these meetings. Because it's one thing to talk about all this stuff. And, I was one of those people for a long time that thought I had I could drink whenever I wanted to, or I could, and like, it never had an effect on anything I was doing. And, but as time went along, I started figuring out, like, well, it's not, even if I think that it's not affecting me, it could be affecting people in my household. And, that's when I started thinking about my kids and everything else. And I was just like, you know what? I did it as a dare to myself for a long time. I was like, I'm going to stop and just see, what's going to happen. And after a while, I started looking at it beyond that and starting to figure out that, hey, this isn't just some dare I'm trying to do to myself to see how far I can go. It was more or less like, this is a new lifestyle I have to have. And I wanted to be able to show, like, a different life to my kids. And, kind of, we always talk about generational trauma and start that generational healing in my own home, and start and being that first step to where they don't have to go through their life and worry about what dad is doing or what he's thinking about or anything like that. Because I'm pretty open with them now, and it's helped them a lot, I think, and to where they're opening up more emotionally and talking about what they're going through mentally and everything. Because it's easy to see things that your loved ones are going through physically, but sometimes I can put on a front, and I do it all the time, to show, like I'm not going through any grief or I'm going through anything in my life. And it's just something I've taught myself over time. But now that I'm more open about everything that I'm doing, it's just helpful. And I think us being able to share that with people is just part of that process, and helping them to learn, like, whether it's like starting at 5 a.m. in the morning and having coffee and prayer and going out and grounding yourself, doing yoga or meditation, or like for me and myself, like, I started writing a lot more, which is something I never thought I was ever going to do. I've always liked to read, but I've never written anything. And like over like the last probably year and a half, I've started writing more, and like writing little notes and things like that. And I've just started gathering them more and starting to think about and started trying to apply them, instead of just being like, okay, I got a book full of notes. And so now I'm trying to apply them and start trying to use them to try to not just help myself, but maybe even try to help other people. So, um, I think, it's just to see, like, I started, and like, to see how far we've come, like, even, um, the ones that are just starting with us, and to see how far they've come with their speaking and things like that. It's really, it's just enlightening to see, and to see everybody's faith grow at the same time. It's pretty amazing.
I think that reminded me, I went to Mexico here lately, was with the healer, a guy, a Mayan, and he was like an elder, and he was very good. He could speak a little English, Spanish, and Mayan. But when he before we went into the sweat, he taught us, like, and then while we're in there, he said, you came for this journey, and through your journey, but right here, right now, you didn't come to heal. You come to not to heal things, but to heal yourself, to love yourself, and just to remind you, just keeping that reminder of loving yourself, no matter what, your temple, your body, the way you do things, and And then yoga also told me, taught me not to, just be better at things, like, say, oh, I used to be fat, I used to be slow, or I used to be big, and it's like, no, you're not like that no more. I'm getting better. I'm eating better. I'm gonna start running. I will get better. I will run. I will eat more veggies, as long as you keep that self and just slowly, over time, you'll get better at it, and you'll eventually, as long as you don't fall back. And just reminding yourselves, like, where you're at right now, like you're writing a journal, and I need to get back into that too. I still have my notes, but looking back on it, just always reminding myself, because we have our daily battles. We might have a bad day, like, man, something came up, and financially, or co-parenting, stuff like that. It's like, man, I've been doing this and this. What else do I need to do to keep my mind straight, my kids, my family, my house, and and I just think like Steve Harvey said, being thankful I get to do this. I get to take my kids, be with them, get to teach them this, and Tatum, you taught me something too, like how you yell at your kids, like, go clean up. Why didn't I tell you? But it's like, well, you put yourself in that. How do you want to be talked to?
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that too a little bit these past couple months, and not that I would yell at them. I mean, I did, but if they didn't do it the first time, but just kind of remind them, like, hey, here in a few minutes, get the trash, and remember it's Tuesday.
Right.
Just little things like that, and being able to let them know, like, like, oh, okay, yeah, oh yeah, all right. When you tell them, they'll listen. So I think I don't know, just what it came to my head about being, thankful with yourself, happy, and able to move on. And I don't know, self-talk. There's a lot of self-talk.
Self-talk is huge.
Yeah.
Like, it is really cool to see how each of our journeys are different, but we can all sit around this table and talk and learn from each other. And it's there's no animosity or like jealousy or, like, I used to get a big head about things like, oh, I can't learn from you. You know what I mean? And like, no, I can learn from anyone. It just depends on what I take away from a situation, whether it be good or bad. And like you said, like, we talk about things with our kids now. That's so important to me, that like, if Josie is having a hard day, that she can come to me and be open without feeling any judgment from me.
Right.
Because I feel like, as much as maybe we think we don't, it's still easy for family to be judgmental. And I've received that treatment a lot during my life. So try to be an open ear all the time. Whenever she's upset, I go through the 5 senses kind of first. Like, are you tired? Are you hungry? Are you hot? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then we can go and approach things differently. And I can see, like, my healing through her. Like, you were talking about the things that you're like reading, and like, just, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Again. Just the
put them right
ways
here.
that we're all growing, like, within, then that leaves space for our kids to do the same and like just feel safe,
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll just say, before I started with tour, I was not a morning person. I'm getting so much better, and I'm making that time in the morning to sit. And like you said, with your yoga, even if it's 5-10 minutes, like my 5-10 minutes of prayer and deep breathing. And that's how I like center myself and get ready for the day. And we're only on the 3rd day of school, but things have been going really smoothly in the mornings, and everyone's happy. There's no screaming. I can just remember my mom like, grab your cereal and let's go, get in the car. She was a nurse, and, but it feels good to be doing things differently. And it's, I just always leave the door open for growth and learning in my
Right.
life.
Yeah.
I think it's key because, like, for the longest time, I always thought that I was one of those people that knew everything,
Mhm.
and like there wasn't anything I needed to learn anymore. I got my education. I went and got my master's. I did all this stuff. Like, there wasn't anything that I needed to learn more. And my life has taught me a lot. Like, I've been through a lot, and not a lot of people know my complete story. And I'm working on developing that testimony so I can start sharing it. And so that's But it's kind of important for us to understand, like I haven't been, like I had to change my way of dealing with my kids. And I was one of those dads that was always like, how come you haven't done this yet? Or how come you haven't done that yet? I told you this already. And now it's like I take a step back and I actually have a conversation with my girls, with my younger ones. And I ask them to try to explain to me like what it is that's going on in their mind, or if their heart is okay for the day. And it's just being able to do that helped me to develop a better relationship with them. And now now I'm not that person that goes in there and like, at one point, my daughter told their mom, like, Dad isn't yelling at us in the morning anymore. And he came in and he had a nice voice and it was different. And I was just like, man, that's like one of those things that like put you on the floor, And like, I was like, geez, like and in the beginning, like you don't even like, I didn't even realize that was going on. That I just thought like, this is what I needed to do. This is what I need to be, and now I'm like, okay, well, as I've been reading and I've been learning, and I'm like, okay, I need to have a different way of handling things. And it's helped out a lot. And it's also helped them to see how important prayer is in their life, because like I sit down with them and I have them give me their own prayer request and have them talk to me about what happened during their day. And if there's something specific they're worried about, or if there's something specific they're worried about for somebody else, because even kids can get bogged down by the stresses that they see in their parents' life, and you have no idea that it's even going on as a parent. And so, um, I started figuring that out as I started having those conversations with them. Like, Dad, we see that you're frustrated about something, but we don't ask you about it. And I'm like, well, in the beginning, it was always like, well, this is, that's Dad's thing. You don't have to worry about it. But that's not going to stop them from worrying about it. They're going to do it anyways. And so I have that conversation with them and I tell them, and I'm more open with them. Well, Dad has this stuff going on at work, or Dad's going through this with just his own personal relationship with God. Like, and it can get, it can get pretty, um, uh, not frustrating, but it can get pretty, tiring at times. But it's still a conversation I try to have with them. And it's like a nightly thing now. And it's helped them to want to have that time now where they ask for it. And it's not just Dad making them do it. And it's helped them to want to have that prayer time for themselves. And that's a conversation we always have. It's like, hey, you don't have to wait for Dad to have your own prayer time. You can have your own prayer time. You can talk with God whenever you want to. It's just a simple conversation, just like just like we're having right now. Um, you don't have to be in some specific place. You don't have to sit a certain way. I tell them, like, Dad has conversations with when he's driving all the time, and I just talk out loud, like, "Hey, man, hey, God, it's me again. Um, I know you're probably tired of me, but this is what I have to say right now, and this is what I have to ask for, and thank you for all you do." And it's just, and they're starting to grasp onto that, and I can see it in their lives and how they're growing, and it's just been really helpful during this whole process and stuff that we're going through. So um, to hear, everybody starting to talk about that and learning from it is kind of cool.
It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just reminded me early in my recovery, I had no prayer life. Like, I had no idea. It was always like, why God? Like, why? Why is this happening? Why am I going through this? Is there a way out? And then, like, very early on, I heard one of my friends from the meeting say, I just talk to God like he's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's my good friend. He's just sitting in my passenger seat and we're just having a conversation. Then I was like, oh. But like, I have ADHD. My brain doesn't stay on one track for too long. It goes to the other track and it goes over here. And so I thought, well, I can't pray very good if I'm not staying focused in my prayer. But then that's where like the whole time thing came in. Like, it doesn't have to be a certain time. It doesn't have to be for, you don't have to sit in prayer for 3 hours,
Right.
And so I've been on like this whole journey of what my prayer life looks like and what my quiet time looks like. And, I like to spend a lot of my evening just enjoying the peace and quiet. When my child goes to sleep, I'd prefer not to have people call me. That sounds selfish. If someone is in need, I will answer their phone call. Absolutely. But I would prefer to not just chit chat. I would prefer to enjoy the silence,
Mhm.
and I do that pretty often. And that's also like part of my prayer meditation time. And then our prayers out loud on the way to school.
Right.
I always ask Josie if she has anything to add, but she's just like, no, I think you covered it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I know one day she'll,
Right.
she'll get in on it, but yeah, so prayer life is important. Being in the recovery world, like, one thing I talked about at my women's meeting was going through these struggles in life and knowing that we don't bear that weight alone, And like before, it just felt like everything, like I was alone, no one understood me, like I don't know. And I just know that, like with my higher power, like him alone, I'm not bearing the weight alone. But then I have these women that are going through the exact same thing that I go through, or these men, these families, that are being single parents, that are living on one income, that are just doing all these things, trying to make something of themselves, but it's hard, and it's not just me. I'm not alone. So I'm grateful for the communities that I've built and just the people that I've met along this way, along this journey.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've learned over time through my prayer life is that it's real easy to look at God as some big genie in the sky, and all we do is ask him for what we want or what we need at the time. And so I've set aside a time, mostly during the evening time, during my evening time, is when I have my conversation or when I have my prayer. Like, I don't ask for anything. All I do is, that's my grateful prayer.
Gratitude.
Yeah, that's my gratitude prayer. And like, to sit there and just be thankful for the day, for the things you learned, for the things you got through, and just show your gratitude for everything that you have, because we all know there's others that are out there that would love to have our lives and to love to be in the positions we're in. And when we think about it, we're like, I don't know why anybody would want this life. But there's others that are out there that are in that struggle, that are at their rock bottom and are trying to figure out how they're going to survive that day. And so that's what I've started to try to teach myself. And I always get mad at myself when I go to bed and I forgot to have that gratitude time. And so that's just something I think about, and it's just been helpful to me to be able to have that time. I'm not saying everybody needs to do it. It's just something I do to help me get through the time. So,
yeah, gratitude is important. As busy as our lives get, you know what I mean? As busy as our work week is, and finding that work-home life balance that we're all, striving for, just taking those 5 minutes and being grateful, 5-10 minutes, and showing that. I like to do that first thing in the morning. But yeah, how do you guys feel about work-home life balance? Because like, the Gord clan is so busy on the weekends too, and then also with like a 5-day work week. Like, how do you reset and like recharge? You don't. No.
no, like, there's times where like it's hard to that balance, I think, and I could tell you right now, I didn't have balance for a long time. And when we first started that, it took a lot of our time, and it hindered my family life, because I felt like we had a priority to try to make this happen so we could help others. And it when I centered it on that, like, I always felt like I had to be everywhere all the time. And it it put a strain on my family life. And it was like I was having to choose to be here or be over here with my kids or be over here instead of doing something over here with my family. And I didn't know that I was making that decision at the time because I was just so focused, like, this is my job. This is what I got to do. So now that I felt like how I've tried to figure it out, it's like, okay, well, now I don't have to be there at a specific time all the time, or now I don't have to be the first one there. And I don't have to be there for the entire event or, whatever it is. Like, it's just been helpful. And it also helps that we have more people involved because there for a long time, it was just me, Darian, Barry, and Domingo. And now that we have more people, it's a lot easier to take a step away or not feel like you have to be everywhere at the same time. But it took me some time to try to figure that out. And I think we'll figure it out like almost every single time because like we have to plan that out. Like, well, if Mingo's going to go up here, then not all of us need to be there or, vice versa.
Yeah.
Like if me and Barry are going to be there, then Darian can be later or
I'll come late. And
well, you are always late, so it doesn't matter.
Mingo, are you going to start going to jails again?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're available.
If I'm available.
I didn't go to jails for a while. I would just kind of use Monday to stay in the office and figure out my plan for the week, my groups, my women's group, my youth group, things like that. But I went last Monday and I really made that connection with them on the first time, I have these this knowledge of wellbriety, these certifications, and I have to use them. I have to utilize them with people that need it. And so it was really good. I look forward to working and reading on step 7 next week. So shout out to Cassandra Faye for allowing me to go along with her last week and learn from her. And just, she showed me the ropes. She's my really good sister. We built our friendship, our relationship through both of our recovery journeys. And I know that she's someone I can always, call and she'll listen. And instead of just throwing me some advice, she'll say, okay, do you need me to just listen or do you need me to say something? And I appreciate that because we get so much unsolicited advice, well, you need to do this. Well, you need to do that. No, sometimes people don't need that. They just need a listening ear and just for you to show some compassion and support. And so, Mondays is jails. Tuesdays, we get to go work in the housed community.
Second chance.
Yeah, we're behind second
Chance thrift store.
Second
on
Chance
23rd
thrift
and
store. MacArthur.
Oh, MacArthur.
That's been we've got to see that grow over time because I've been going ever since we first, started that up a few months ago, and they were real timid at first, like, oh, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to sell to me? Or like, what do you guys have going on? And now they just come up and they're just happy to see us and see what we have. And we're able to provide them with new stuff too. Like we're not giving them the same, we're not providing them with the same supplies every time.
Right.
They're going to get some bags. They're going to get maybe some cooling towels or, we've got a lot of new supplies in, and that's such a blessing that we get to go out into the communities and do that.
Yeah, that's just part of everything we've been doing. That's part of our weekly schedule, but we still have all our meetings. We have a meeting on Monday. Tuesday is Tatum's women's group. The only day I think we have off is Wednesday. Thursday we have our normal talking circle. And Friday, I think, are they still doing Fridays 12-step?
I think Fridays is supposed to be all men's circle.
Yes, men's circle.
Thursdays is my youth group again too.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm really excited. I'm going at it at a totally different approach, and I think it's going to be really good for our kids that show up.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a place to go, then just find our Facebook. It's still there. We do a live every morning. We have our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Where all of our lives are posted and archived pretty much. So follow that. I think it's CNA-Tour on YouTube. Yeah. And then, of course, we're Cheyenne Arapaho Tour Project on Facebook. So, and then we just built our nonprofit out of Rezcovery.
Yeah.
So you can follow us on Facebook on there. I don't think we have a YouTube yet. We do have an Instagram. I think it's tribal_recovery, Rezcovery, or just recovery. I think it's just recovery. But you can find us there too. And then we have our own website. It's www.rezcovery.org. So check us out. That's where all of our Gourd Clan and all of everything that goes on with that is listed under. So we're very excited about that and seeing where it's going to go. We still got to jump Tatum in. So
yeah.
Theta, I think Theta's going to handle that.
Yeah,
so,
Theta and Natalie.
Yeah. We'll see.
Lena.
I'm just waiting on my shawl. Okay, that's how I would prefer to be jumped in. But if we have to go the more violent way,
I guess. That's not how Theta handles things. So
Theta is a sweetheart. I wish she was here today.
Yeah. She'll get on here one of these times.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to start coming out here more often. So just to get something different than what our lives all the time. But I'm looking forward to doing our first Rezcovery live. So that'll be that'll be interesting.
We can bring some people in.
Yeah. Outside of Tribal Office of Recovery. So what do you think? Mr. Botone has showed up, so I think we're gonna.
Do we want to allow our next guest in?
I think we'll.
Star of the show.
I think we'll finish. This one out, and you can check us out on our next one. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate it all. See you next time. Probably in the next few minutes.
Next week.
Yeah. Thank you.
I hope.